Hello. First of all, I would like to start out with saying everyone. I just booted myself off the stream. Um, okay. So tonight we are going to start a very interesting case. Um, I want to start by making it very clear that Katie is not trying to look for fame. She's not trying to look for attention, or she's not even trying to scam anybody or get money out of anybody, period. I want to make that very clear. She's not out for that. When it comes to the custody of her daughter, she has that. She has protection orders out on her adoptive parents, so it has absolutely nothing to do with any of that, okay? Hey, Lonnie, I want to real quick. I know that it takes a minute to actually get out the notifications that I'm live. So I'm gonna first of all welcome everybody to the chat. I will say, if you see me looking off to the side, I have my another screen to see the chat. I want to say hi to Dawn, Christola, Lonnie, Lokame Life. Hi, how are you today? Jay Hill. Anybody else is in chat? I would like to say hello to. Let me flip this over. Sarah Wilson. I do want to make I will also say this before I bring Katie and her wife on stage or on panel. Please be very respectful in chat. I'm gonna give some rules real quick, and before I start, I will give rules. Be respectful in chat. You will be warned once, and you will be the comment will be deleted, and you will be timed out. You will be warned again. The comment will be deleted, and you will be timed out. If you come back for a third time and you are disrespectful, you will completely be blocked from chatting. So I do ask you all to be very kind and respectful in chat, because the way that I see it is, hopefully you guys will all feel the same way I feel about this case. But even for legal purposes, DNA doesn't come back how she expects, which, I mean, in my honest opinion, there's a very, very good chance that she is Brittnay. From everything I've seen, I do have that I want to play right now. I do have a recording. And this right here will hopefully help with doubts on whether or not she has contacted the law enforcement.
I'm doing all right. How you doing today? I'm doing fine. What's going on? Well, just been having some questions, wanted to get a little update, see what's going on. Yeah, we want to get, I'm sure you still not going to make arrangements to get your buckles rolled. And then we're going to compare that on time. Okay. And it should be coming very soon. All right. I'm going to speak to somebody. Somebody's going to be calling you. We have a cash portion. And somebody's going to be calling you from the cash portion, okay? Okay. So, and it's possible, I'm going to be honest, it's possible somebody from the FBI. All right? Okay. So, all right. Right. That's understandable. We can put everything in the database. Okay. So we will let you know. And I'll keep updated with you on the dates that we get. It's going to probably be a couple of weeks, to be honest with you. Okay. All right. And then, yeah, we're just going to go from there. Okay. I appreciate that. Okay. That's it.
Okay. I do see that there is a lag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually play the recording from my phone. Just 1 second, guys. I thought maybe it was gonna work better that way and sound was gonna be clearer. But I see that's not gonna work that way. But what I was saying is that I would even say that it doesn't happen the way that we expect the DNA test to come back. Either way, she deserves respect, okay? Because she's gone through a lot, okay? And I just want you all to understand. Is it still choppy? You know why? Hold on, just 1 second. You can stay muted.
Oh, do you want me to unmute? Any better? I'm here now. I'm sorry. I didn't even know I was in here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. You're fine. Does that help with the sound? I found that if I have somebody on panel with me, it does help with the sound.
I think it does, actually. Hold on. It did from my perspective, anyways.
Okay. See, now maybe. I wonder if the recording will actually work now.
Yeah, no, see, you're right. That's what happened. Yeah, it's a lot better now.
Okay, if you want to mute, you can mute, Jets Mom. Okay, sorry about that, guys. This is, as you see, my channel's fairly new. So this is like my first live stream when it comes to something like this. Normally I'm on here kind of chit-chatting, doing whatever. But let me see if it works better with the recording this time. Let me know.
I think if I unmute, you sound better.
I went ahead and I closed out of what I was needing. Okay. This is what I'm going to do. Because I can't. Okay. Let me see. All right. I'm going to play from here. Sorry about that. I want to make sure that my YouTube on this end, okay, is not playing while I play the recording. So this is going to be the recording of the detective and Katie talking, just so that way we can clear up the fact on whether or not she has talked to a detective or not, okay?
Questions, wanted to get a little update, see what's going on.
Can everybody hear that okay?
They compare that to the DNA we have on file. Okay. It should be coming very soon. Okay. All right. I'm gonna speak with just nobody, and somebody's gonna be calling you from. We have a task force, and somebody's gonna be calling you from the task force. I'm gonna be honest with you, somebody from the FBI. All right. Okay. So, because it's across state lines, so I got somebody from my task force to help us. And the FBI can actually do that, without us going through different jurisdictions. Right. That's understandable. And then we can put it, and we got everything in the database. Okay. So we will let you know, and I'm gonna keep updated with you.
Okay. So that's that. That clears up all questions on that. Can you
reiterate what was said just for everybody, because it was a little
okay. So basically what was said is she had called the detectives and she asked for an update what was going on with doing the DNA test, and he basically stated that they would be contacting her within the next few weeks to run the DNA. I'm guessing that this was taking place before August 10th, because she was able, she has already went and did the DNA. They are now awaiting the test results, okay?
I believe that contact was made around the 24th of June.
Yes. Yep. That we have discussed. Once again, now that there's more in chat, I'm gonna state, moderators, if there's any rude, offensive, out of hand comments, depending on what you see the level is, you can block right away. If it's something minor, you know, and just kind of a little off the charts, I'm gonna ask mute or delete the comments and mute that person for the timeouts. You can do that twice. If they come back for a third time with a rude comment, please block them. I do want Katie and her wife respected in every way possible, as that's what they deserve. So with that said, I am going to bring Katie up.
So it was actually the 26th, by the way. I'm getting this clarified. So it was not the 24th, it was the 26th.
Oh, it was the 26th? Okay.
Yes.
Jets Mom, do you want to
I can jump back if you like me to, or whatever you guys like, you know? I'm happy to be here. I'm just, you know, whatever you need, sweetheart.
Girls? Okay, guys, I would like to introduce to you Katie and her wife.
Hey,
Deja, right?
Deja.
Okay. Brittnay, I want to start. Is there anything, I mean, not Brittnay. Katie.
Yes.
Would you like to clarify anything that I might not have hit upon?
For one, I'm not doing any of this for attention or money or anything. This is about me finding my past and me researching the adoption that I was said I was supposed to be a part of. And I also want to hit on the basis that this has nothing to do with custody, zero to do with custody, and all to do with a protective order that was actually put out for my daughter for domestic abuse of a minor on both of my adoptive parents, who are now Brett and Barbara Stevenson, who have a no contact order with me, my child, my wife, and my other daughter.
Okay. With that said, I have a few questions.
Okay.
What made you look into your adoption?
Well, my adoption was, I figured if I'm being isolated my whole life and being treated the way I have been, that there has to be something else up. And it took a lot of research and help from my wife, of course. But I started trying to research my original birth certificate because, you know, I want to be able to find my real family. And so when I started to research my original birth certificate or my adoption records, they don't exist. And if there is paperwork, the paperwork is illegal or forged. Okay. And so that got me into just looking up just different names, because for some reason I always had the name Williams implanted into my head. So I start playing around with like my nickname Katie, and then the name that my adoptive parents have gave me, which is Kaylin. And I just started going in the search bar on Google and just researching different stuff. And voila, a little girl that pops up that looks exactly like me and has almost every single identifying factor that I have.
Right. I get that. So, how did you end up stumbling upon Brittnay's missing post?
I ended up going into the search bar. I had put in Kaylin Williams. That's exactly what I had did. And
what made you search for Williams, can I ask?
It was just a name I always remember. It's just something that was just like, my memory is like foggy and messed up because of the type of abuse I had, was drugged a lot, but somehow the name Williams just always stuck with me. And I was like, hey, let me do a couple hit and misses with a couple last names, because when I would research Kaylin Stevenson, nothing would pop up. Or I researched Katie Stevenson, nothing would pop up. I even did as much as going on to Ancestry.com, a couple of the other websites to try to research stuff, and nothing would ever pop up. So I started playing around with the last names, and I ended up putting in Kaylin Williams. And the missing report on Brittnay Renee Williams popped up, and I didn't end up finding out none of that until this past June. And so I was very like, whoa, when I came across the pictures, and I was like, that's me. That looked just like me.
Hey, Stephanie, can I interject real quick?
Yep.
So there's a question on here that's asking about, obviously they're familiar with your case. And they're talking about something that has not been brought up yet. So I'd like you to kind of go from that with yourself, that experience with being a baby with a diagnosis. And just so everybody understands, when it comes to children with certain, whatever you want to call it, you carry your mother's antibodies at birth.
I can probably explain this.
And you need to understand that doesn't necessarily mean that you carry the actual virus within itself inside your body.
Correct.
So if you want to go ahead and talk about that, that'd be something that some people don't understand yet when they see that comment.
Before Katie speaks, I would like to say, if you actually research it, it is possible for a baby to be tested positive at birth for this disease, and later on in life lose their mother's antibodies that contain that disease or this virus, and then later test negative. And that is what would have happened in Katie's case, if I'm guessing.
Yep, that is what happened. Because I know, as far as like my memory,
Brittnay was told her whole life that she did have it, but it was a money thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay.
So can you? So I'm a little confused on this, Brittnay. You guys need to clarify what's happening here.
Okay. That's why we're gonna go back to my original question, which was what made her find Brittnay's proof or post, and then we're gonna start her story from there.
Got it. That makes more sense now.
Okay. We're gonna actually, after she found the post for her, now we're gonna bring her back into her childhood days and have her explain what she remembers growing up, if that's okay.
Okay.
And how you maybe pieced Brittnay's the post and the people involved with the missing children's post.
All right. Well,
and how you can interweave them with your life.
Okay. Well, when I found the missing post, it's like it looks just like my pictures growing up. So that was one factor that I found out. I have like foggy memory on some things, but I do have glimpses of me remembering me sitting there getting blood work done when I was younger. A lot, actually. I also remember being fostered from person to person to person. It was a lot of people that had their hands on me at the same time. I did have like a brutal childhood with a lot of abuse in it on all levels. There was a lot of drugging that was in place as well, which is one of the main reasons why my memory is foggy. So, I've been having other people help me piece the pieces together that knew me when I was younger, and then correlating that with the type of life that I actually did have in the process. Oh, yes, I had an adoptive older cousin that even in the messages in which I did have let me know that it was on her words, it was a white woman named Linda that helped Barbara Stevenson and Brett Stevenson do the adoption. And that didn't come from my mouth. That came from, and that the whole entire family knew about it. But it was something that was hush hush and never spoke on, always swept under the rug, even though they were aware of the type of abuse that was going on. Nobody just ever said anything about it. So that's how I kind of made that correlation. That, and I do have I have every single feature in those pictures, and I have them on me even down to the You said what?
I'm not telling you have to use separate bathrooms.
Oh yeah, I do know growing up I did have to use separate bathrooms. I was real isolated off from other kids, not able to play around with them. I was in the hospital a lot. I do remember that. In and out the hospital, a lot of blood work being done. Just not being able to be a part of society. Me off just somewhere by myself, always secluded somewhere, as far as growing up with my adoptive parents. And then before them, I remember just going from hand to hand to hand to hand to different people.
Do you happen to remember any the names? Well, I know you said that you remembered Williams somehow. You don't.
Yes.
It was just something you remembered is Williams, and that's what made you look up Katie Williams.
Yes.
So we know you remembered that name, but before seeing the Brittnay post, were you able to remember any other familiar names?
No, I wasn't, and I can be honest with that. I wasn't, but I do. The name that stuck out to me from people within the adopted family was the name Linda.
Linda, okay. Mm-hmm. And so I know that at one point they mentioned a half sister. Do you happen to remember that person?
Her name is
Brenda. Is not the half.
No, Brenda is not the half sister. Brenda is my aunt. Is Rosemarie's half sister. That's not my half sister. That would be Rosemarie's half sister. Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's the one that wanted to keep in contact with Brittnay herself.
Yes.
And she's a half aunt.
And she's a half aunt.
Not a half sister. If that will clear up any questions. Yeah. So from you, I'm gonna at this point, if you want to explain your childhood, maybe some of the abuse you experienced, or maybe the handing off of hands with you, or if you want to go further into depth or anything along that line, I'll let you go ahead and do that.
I know from my childhood, what I specifically remember is I remember going back and forth from Ohio to Virginia constantly. That I do remember. I do remember traveling a lot in the car. That's one thing that won't leave my memory. I definitely do remember that. With the type of abuse, it was sexual abuse from both adoptive parents, actually. And then whoever else they decided to have around me in the process. It was a lot of physical abuse. For an example, I had a broken thigh as a child that they told me was a blood clot, and that's not true. And then they even told me that the portacaf that I have right here is on my chest, upper left chest. I was growing up to believe that that was just a scratch that I had, and it was just a scar from a scratch. I've had umpteen amount of surgeries, from feeding tubes to getting odd numbers of my intestines taken out, to other things done on my esophagus to prevent me from throwing up. It was just a whole bunch of surgeries that I had to go through. Unnecessary surgeries that I didn't need, but surgeries that were done on me regardless of the fact. I was in and out the hospital a lot. I did suffer severe physical abuse. you know, if anybody ever took a chance to actually look at those pictures, every single one of those pictures, my face is bruised up, from a busted lips to black eyes to broken bones to even starving. Like, I remember having to eat out of trash cans. I remember not being able to play with other kids. I remember me having to just sit in my room, or I would be forced to be sleeping all the time, being drugged with different medications. So, and it was a constant thing. It wasn't just like, oh, it just happened. No, it was constant. And it's like, it was a lot.
Right. Right. I definitely understand that. Now when we were speaking in chat, just us, you mentioned something about your feeding or like your eating habits back when you were with your adoptive parents. Do you want to touch on that, or are you comfortable with that?
I can actually touch on that. From what I know, before my adoptive parents got me, I was eating food fine. Perfectly fine, was eating solid foods. And when they got their hands on me, that's when I started the umpteen amount of surgeries. That's when the starvation and stuff started. Like, I wasn't, like, they did not let me eat. Then that's when they had a feeding tube put in, which is on my lower left side of my stomach, right underneath my rib cage. That's that. Like, eating habits wise, I had to be starved. And even they went as far as to put me on things that they call like diets, like just withholding food, and then you having to go through the abuse at the same time. And they also had like their daughter in the house, and she got to eat. So, like, she would always they would go out and always buy her the food or cook the good food. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there, I'll be hungry. And yes, I did have to go into trash cans and pull food up out the trash can to eat it. Or I even had to go through the house and sneak and eat. Wait for everybody to try to fall asleep and then go upstairs or downstairs or wherever in the house they wanted to have me isolated at. They either had me isolated up in my bedroom or they had me isolated down in the basement. And I would have to always sneak food. And yeah, but before them, I was eating food perfectly fine, like a normal kid. But
so what it sounds like to me is you're describing your adoptive mother as almost having Munchausen by proxy.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, both of them.
Yes.
So basically they were, to you, the way you see it is they were claiming you had all these problems to get money from the government. You were just basically a money machine for them.
Pretty much a walking paycheck, in other words.
And the way that they were able to make it seem like you had eating problems or whatever, it was by way of starving you.
Yep. And then they would it's like they gave me surgeries that I didn't need that were actually perpetuated by abuse. But to be able to abuse me, they used the medical problem. So they tried to work both hand in hand. So that way, if I ever spoke out about one thing, then it can draw back to another thing.
So they always had that kind of cover up waiting in the background.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I can get my gallery to pull up, I did want to. You did send me a few pictures, as long as I can get my gallery to pull up.
Yes.
Of photos that you did want shared. Some of your portacast scar.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I am going to tell you I'm receiving messages and they are all really, really positive and like they're very proud of you for speaking up. The ones that are contacting me.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You've had nothing but support in the comments.
Yes.
By the way.
That's good.
I'm just real quick. As she has sent me quite a bit of proof. And and quite a bit of documents that she would like shared throughout this whole thing. We're almost certain that this is gonna probably need at least one more night, right, Kitty?
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So and as I have scrolling across the bottom of the screen while I look for these photos, we will answer questions tonight after we decide we're pretty well ready to wrap up the stream for tonight. We will answer questions based on what we've been told tonight, as long as she's comfortable with them. I do want them to all questions to remain respectful, and do understand, you know, she's going through a pretty hard time with everything right now. So if I can get this to load. Go ahead, Katie.
I can jump in here. Just, you know, yeah, it's back to the comments situation. When you're ready to talk about whatever you're ready to at that moment, we are here for you.
Okay.
So don't. We got you covered.
Correct. And actually, I do want to make it clear to the audience. I have brought up to Katie about possibly doing a GoFundMe, but she has come at me, and you know, and I respect all decisions. We're gonna wait. If anybody wants to help with legal funds, if it comes down to that, we will wait the DNA first, and we will go from there. I do want to make that out there, you know, for anybody who's wanting to help.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah.
And let's clarify too that DNA test was just recently taken.
Yes.
It was taken August 10th.
August 10th.
August 10th.
About a month. They said a month and a half, a month to get the results.
They started it August 10th.
Yeah.
And what was the time frame for the results?
Within a month.
Yeah, he said within a month.
Yes.
I know I saved the pictures, and this is all I got. Jets Mom, can you handle things for us? Just 1 second. I'm gonna mute and I'm gonna pull up this stuff.
I'm sorry. What do you want me to? I'm sorry.
Yeah, just maybe help her, like, just interview her into like what we can go into. We're just gonna focus right now on her childhood and
memories.
Yes, memories. Okay. And I'm gonna look for the picture. I'm gonna pull up the pictures.
Sounds good. So I guess, you know, the questions are always going to be, because these, you know, it's such a miracle that you even, you know, found this information, right?
Yes.
It sounds like from everything you've shared, your childhood has been very just intense is not that even the words for it. So memories are going to be, you know, you're going to have PTSD associated to bringing these things up. Yes. And I just want to be very respectful on these questions. Do you have any memories in the sense where you're outside of the foggy memories, where you're like, you have those moments where you're like, wow, this fits? And if there's anything you can share about that with what we're talking about in this case, that would be great to share.
I remember like where I was fostered at. Like, I can vaguely remember the house and the spaciousness in it. Kim Parker's house. I can remember, you know, a lot of kids, always one boy in particular I'll always remember, which was a young boy who was in a wheelchair. He was nonverbal, but he was a sweetheart. That's always implanted into my memory. Like from there, I remember, like, you know, little doggies and stuff that I was around, because that's why I like little animals to this day. I remember a lot of parks, you know, swing sets, always being around a bunch of other little tiny kids doing little projects and little stuff. But once I get past that, my memory does get foggy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but it's like slowly by surely some of my memory has been trying to come back, but I still hit foggy points on some of the things I can't remember. But I do know personally growing up, childhood wise, moved around a lot, went to a lot of different schools, like a lot of different elementary schools. I was actually homeschooled for the longest. One point in time, I remember as a child, me trying to reach out to teachers or other students, classmates. And as soon as I would reach out, I'd get pulled from the school, either switch to a different school or get pulled back homeschool. So it was never really a foundation in like schooling or anything.
By any chance, were you ever diagnosed with, or not? I mean, are you familiar with the term IEP?
No, I didn't get diagnosed with that.
So you never had like a learning disability or anything in school? You went to just regular school?
Yes.
I wonder if have you looked into looking up any of your old school records from some of these places you attended? Have you gone that far yet?
I haven't gone that far because I have to remember a lot of the schools I went to because the locations, because there was so many, because I was jumping back and forth from Virginia to Ohio, and then who knows where else to different places that I was going. So it's like I would have to recall which school is actually where, and then at what grade was I in the school, because also I was told that my birthday was November 25th, 1991, when it is in fact not. I was believed to be older than what I actually was when I'm actually younger.
Which is actually, for people in
March,
watching,
March 20th, 1993.
For children that are put in the system.
I do have a question. Now, in regards to what I was able to read on the post, people were stating that your adoptive parents have infant photos of you. Can you maybe touch on that a little bit and maybe how they would have came across those?
What I can say about that is when you're fostered from place to place to place, it's not hard to go get photos from somebody else, or for somebody to intercept photos back and forth so you can get to know kids, because most kids that are in foster care or are adopted, the adoptive parents or the foster parents will receive other photos that other people have taken, because it also helps build a familiarity with the child itself. But I could say with those photos, I really don't remember Brett Stevenson or Barbara Stevenson even taking most of any of those photos. Those were more than likely photos that were given to them, not photos that they took themselves. Because I was in the foster care system, and I was being jumped around from foster home to foster home. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't know. I touched, probably over maybe 15 different foster homes before the adoption came about. So, it's a lot.
Okay, and I did find these pictures, and I did send them to my downloaded photos. Okay. So it's just a matter of picking one and pulling it up, I guess, because honestly I didn't save them in any way, shape, or form specifically. Okay, so I do believe, let me jump back to StreamYard and I will share screen. And you can maybe explain your, well, I mean, obviously you probably won't need to explain much, as it is a photo of the quarter calf scar that you were sent.
Yep.
Okay, so this would be where her scarring is for her quarter calf scar. That is her upper left chest. Was this one that you sent, that was you found on Google to show similarities?
No, that's still me. I just took a
Okay,
couple
that was
different
still
angles. Yes.
okay, and this is still you.
Yes, that's yes.
Okay, the one that you sent me with Google, I don't think I did downloaded that as
And that's me as well. I just wanted
okay.
to put the arrows to point it out just in case it was harder to look at. Because at the
Okay,
end
so
of the
here
day,
and here.
I had it when I was a child. So you got to think, I'm 28 years old now. So that scar as I got older would hit a fade. So it's not fresh at all.
Okay. And then well, here is you and your daughter to show you do have her in your care now.
Yes, I do.
You did want to make that clear.
I wanted to make that very clear.
Correct. And here you also was telling me about a bruise on her arm.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Everybody can see that. I will try to zoom in. And this is what she had on her when she was returned to you.
Yes, when I finally was able to pick her up because my adoptive parents had harbored her from me from over a year and a half. And then prior to that, they would harbor her months and months at a time, coming up with their own rules and stipulations for her. Meanwhile, when I had finally was able to pick her up, which was May 7th, 2021, I came back and she had all types of bruises on her arms, her back, her face, her legs, her butt, even her stomach and her chest.
Okay. We will go further into your story with your daughter when we get there, okay? But I do know you wanted to get that cleared up, and that was to show you do have her now and completely in your care.
Yeah, her bruises have cleared up a lot.
They sure have.
She looks better.
She's
when she
now.
first came back to us, she wasn't even eating at all. She didn't want to eat anything, as if they were starving her too. She didn't even go to sleep. She was up from dusk to dawn, all for sometimes 24 to 48 hours at a time. She would not sleep. And so now she's back eating, and she's back, getting back to a regular sleep pattern, and she's now, starting to do a lot better, actually.
Okay, and I do want to address Queen in the messages. When it comes to her adoptive father, we're going to leave that out for this time being, as that is still an investigation, and we're not going to touch on that.
Yes, good, yeah.
We are not tipping nobody off. That is not our responsibility right now. We will hit that when the time comes, and once we confirm what is what. Okay? So we will not discuss that right as of this minute. There's an investigation. That's all we need to know.
Yep.
Okay. All right. From there, we have. I do believe you. Do you know a Jay Hill? Possibly.
Yeah, I know her.
Okay. I see that they're pretty protective of you. So I'm guessing that is somebody that you know. So if we can please be respectful, I do understand that Jay is trying to protect the girls on camera in chat. We are here. Yes, he said. So or she. I'm not sure. She was just very blunt, and she'll get to that when she gets to it. Let's see. I know it took. Okay, so we got a comment here, and it says, "I know it took 4 weeks to get back an ancestral DNA."
Yes.
So. I'm going to just start throwing on some comments if you want to and maybe touch base on that, like childhood wise. And then we'll touch base a little bit into maybe your teens, because I'm sure you can remember a little bit more into your teens. Let's see. We got lots of positive comments.
Good. Yeah, I see that.
Yes, and a lot of people are pretty respectful about it. Well, they just stopped coming through to my StreamYard, I guess. She's a good friend. Okay, yes, Jay is seems like a beautiful friend to have around. Very protective. Yes. Okay. So totally understandable. We are not here to judge. We are not being disrespectful. Awesome. There, that's about your daughter.
Okay.
That you have her.
Okay.
And so with that said, Jets Mom, do you wanna maybe hit on something that I'm missing?
You know,
Or do you ladies want to speak upon maybe a little bit more? I know you said that when you were looking at Brittnay's missing post, your wife was the one to pick out a lot of details.
Yes.
To you as in looks and stuff. Do you guys want to maybe touch on that? I do have a childhood photo of you that I can bring up. If you want to touch on that while I look for that.
Okay. You got me.
Okay, so she when she found the Brittnay Renee Williams pictures online as well as the articles and stuff, she woke me up out of a dead sleep. I was asleep. Didn't know what she was talking about at first, but I woke up that next morning and I started looking at the pictures, and I started pointing out everything from her facial structure to her hairline to even everything down to the ear shape.
The eyebrow.
The eyebrows, yes, because her eyebrows, one of them, I'm not
one of them
I'm
not
not
I'm sorry. I mean, I think you're beautiful, so don't get me wrong.
One is more mountain, one is more hill. I call it the mountain and the hill.
Yeah. I got the same thing. I'll turn my cam on for that one, for real. Like, I got the same thing going on. Like,
and then everything from the mold on her neck.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do a screen share, and I'm gonna bring up pictures, and I'm gonna let you kind of explain, because obviously some of us are gonna recognize some of the pictures from the missing child's post, and this will also show how similar that Katie is to Brittnay. This makes me wonder how many kids that were abducted and raised with abductor and still have no idea. Maybe you are inspiring someone that may have a suspicion, and that's exactly what I said. I said she is brave. She's very inspiring to come forward.
Yep.
Yes.
That's why we decided
to
do
other
this,
people mainly before anything like this story can help another person open up about their trauma and give them her courage and hope to be like, hey.
Right.
Here, I'm gonna jump off and just pop me back in so they can see pictures at the same time. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. And I'm going to actually pull this up, and I want to. Oop, nope, not do that. I don't know what you're doing, computer screen. I'm going to make this. Okay, so hi. Sorry, I got my little one popping in. This is a photo of Brittnay from the missing child's post, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we're gonna flip through. This is also, and if everybody was wondering about the mole, that would be here, correct?
Yep.
And this is where, because I noticed that a lot of people were saying, but it doesn't say this in the missing child's photo or post that she had the mole there. Clearly in the missing child's picture, there's a mole. If you want to touch base on this.
The one with the glasses is my actual photo. Meanwhile, the other ones that are collaged together are the missing persons photos.
And they look very similar.
Except one I just got on big bifocals.
And one is maybe slightly older, maybe.
Yeah. And one, yep.
Yep. And obviously you can tell these two pictures, the one on the, well, it would be your right. I mean, if you're looking at the screen, it's going to be a right and a left.
Yeah.
The left is the missing child. The right is an actual photo that Brittnay has, or that Katie has on hand.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
And if you notice when I flip through these, you will see the picture of her in pink is compared to a lot of the other ones. You'll see that one quite a bit more.
Yeah, I wish you could zoom it in a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep, I can.
Well, now
Absolutely.
these are mine. Yeah.
These are all of Brittney or Katie growing up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they look almost identical, actually exactly identical to the Brittnay Renee
From
photos.
the cheeks to the way the eyes look, the way the hairline is, even the tiny little widow's peak that I still have.
Yeah, the widow's peak, right?
Yeah.
I'm not what I'm looking for when it comes to zooming in. This is an actual photo of you over on the left, right?
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in
Looks like
for everybody to.
Yeah.
Looks exactly like Brittnay.
That smile, guys. That smile.
Brittnay with glasses on.
Yep.
Yeah. Very, very, very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a comment that says very similar, if not identical.
Exactly.
Right.
So I know that the post mentioned something about a Kim Parker, I believe.
Yes.
Do you happen to remember that?
I don't remember a lot, but I was briefed by somebody that's very close to me, and she's an awesome person. Kim Parker, she's a liar. I can say that for sure. And she was in on her own things as far as trying to get money. And that was basically her main focal point.
Okay.
But she was also the place where I stayed in where I would see a whole bunch of kids around, because she also had a ramp built for her house that was for that little boy in the wheelchair that I remember.
Want her to zoom that picture in.
Zoom that, yeah.
Which one?
Zoom
this
that
one?
The one before.
Yeah,
that one. Please
yeah.
zoom that one in so we can see that more.
This is a really good one on the eyebrow, especially the eyebrow.
This is the one that Brett and Barbara Stevenson had, and that looks.
And that's one that they actually took. This one.
Smile for us right now. You see those dimples?
Okay.
You see those dimples?
Yeah.
And the way your cheeks are? I mean, that does not change.
It doesn't. There's certain features within your face that don't change. They might look more mature, but they don't change.
Well, and the way your eyes are too. If you smile with your eyes,
Okay.
very interesting.
There. Let me.
I do.
Yeah, you do.
Now there. All right. So if that maybe, set a side by side photo of Brittnay's pic and Katie's daughter. Do you happen to have any of those? I don't think you sent me any of those.
There might be one of mine that you guys just sent.
Yeah, they want to see a side by side of your daughter in the missing child's post.
Oh, I don't think we've done one of those. We haven't done one of those yet.
I've already made the comment because I've seen the daughter privately chatting, and I'll tell you what, it's almost like looking at Brittnay all over from the missing child's post. I told her just earlier, I said it's almost like you went and stole Brittnay all over again. I was gonna say, what is this? I was gonna say, just mom, the cheekbone. Oh, the cheekbones.
Yeah, so that's I was talking about the dimples and the cheekbones. Absolutely.
Yes. And Christola said, "I believe that's you, Katie."
Hey.
We are just basically touching base on everything tonight, though. Do you remember anything from your teen years? Because obviously in your teens you're able to kind of speak up a little bit about something. Do you actually remember ever being called Brittnay? or no?
No, I just always
So
had the
they
last
changed-
name Williams in my head. They changed my entire name. My name was changed, my social security was changed, number was changed, and my birth date was changed. And my birth date actually reflected me looking older than what I was.
Right. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and remove that for now.
So that makes it, on that note though, that makes it really difficult to compare photos, even though, you know, back in the day, photos were still, you know, time stamped essentially. So it makes it difficult to do like a facial recognition, you know, like they can do, I don't know. I mean, now they can do everything, right?
Right.
It's makes it difficult because you're saying that you were 9 months younger or older than you were actually portrayed.
Actually, I was
sorry,
actually 2 years and like a couple months portrayed as 2 years older than what I actually was.
Holy
and it doesn't help that she's actually already smaller.
And I'm already small. I'm only 4'11".
And you're teeny. That's right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm 5'11".
4'11", 105.
So she's a small adult, so you can only imagine how small she was as a child.
Most sixth graders are still bigger than me.
Oh no, my son's 10. My son's
this right
10,
here is a picture of Katie and her daughter.
Oh yeah, that's this. Yeah, this is my small little twin.
Oh, your little mini.
She does. She looks just like you.
You're mini.
Definitely. So from what you've been able to speak about with detectives, have they said, like, what have they kind of said to you? Can we clear some of that up?
For the most part, I can throw out there that a task force has been assembled. There's an FBI agent already on my case. I've been working back and forth with the detectives in Henrico, Virginia. What else? For the most part, we just waiting on my DNA to come back. But for the most part, I've also sent them pictures. They have my statements on different things that have happened that I let them in on. Then beyond, there's other investigations going on in part, but won't touch on any of those right now. But the FBI is working hand in hand with Henrico, Virginia, and I can say that.
And I believe they've already done the facial recognition step. What I've learned about when they do facial recognition is that they give you a percentage. And from what my understanding is, for them to even had wanted to pick up her case in particular, she had to score really high percentage in the facial recognition for the FBI. And I'm not really exactly sure what that percentage was, but I'm assuming that it was really high.
Yes.
I'm going to just say thank you. Because here's the case. Worst case scenario, this may not be the right one. Like, that's the worst case, right? But what you're doing tonight is you're bringing out a big situation that's happening to thousands, if not millions of children right now in the system.
Illegal adoption.
What's happened. Yeah. And we're bringing light to something. So regardless, I mean, everything you're sharing looks wow. So
show them your mole so they don't think that.
Gotta remember
that. Is there a mole that doesn't exist or did exist?
Or she scribbled it in on the picture.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, I've had that for life.
Like, it's there. And that's not a comfortable place to remove a mole. Let's put it that way.
Shoot, if I could, I'd come up closer and even show my little scar that I had, but it's probably too bright in here. And, I'm really like.
Well, and I can actually attest to some of the things I was noticing on
the porta calf scars actually right here on my
and you
left
can
chest.
actually see where they actually maybe the portacath where they injected other tubes as if it was maybe removed and taken out and removed and taken out, and you could see the punctures in her upper.
And they could, and see our bodies, they and I can attest for this from my own experience and scarring on my own body, is your scars move.
Yes.
I mean, you grow and you change and your body develops, you get wider in your shoulders, and the skin is not going to stay in the same position.
Right. Yeah.
And there are many people that it might stay depending on where their catheters have been placed.
Yeah.
But, or not catheter, I guess it is still kind of a catheter.
Oh, portacath.
Portacath. It's kind of like a catheter.
Yeah.
Yeah. They work still in the same way. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I am fascinated by this. And I thank you, Stephanie, for letting me come up and kind of, help with this today.
Oh, no problem. Actually, I'm glad you were able to.
Oh, I should have my results back actually within the next week or two.
So, yeah. It should be very soon. I wouldn't even be surprised if it's this week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you said, they had to do the facial recognition, and in order for them to even run the DNA, you had to score pretty high. So, with that being said, I'm pretty sure. I mean, like you've shown me more than enough. You've been open. You've been honest. You've been upfront. I mean, even you were saying, it's sad that you're getting a lot of you're feeling judged and like you got to prove something. But you still came out tonight because, I mean, when you could have just retreated back into your own world. But with that being said, it only would have made things probably worse, like we discussed. So, I think you're brave for doing this.
I don't have nothing to hide. I'm an open book. I've always been honest. I believe in honesty to the highest degree. Even when the honesty don't make you look good, it's always good to be honest with people, because that's going to bring you closure. That's going to bring you to where you need to be. I don't believe in doing things for attention or money. I'm not material based. I'm moral based.
That's why I married her.
Yeah. It's all about morals and what the heart, desires, not anything of this world. But I'm more so out there to want to help people, help other people like me, or people that are placed into the same situations, or even possibly prevent somebody else even going into the same situation. Because it's so Katie, power.
We have somebody on panel right now who actually has quite a large following. It's our friend. His name is Save Robbie. Mm-hmm. He's amazing. And he has a very, very beautiful, genuine heart, like everything I'm seeing on panel tonight. And I think he's a great person to kind of watch this with us.
I love Save Robbie. You will too. Check him out.
He's hilarious.
He's amazing. He's funny and great. And I think he too could
get this going for you.
Yes. And if we could, like I said, I know that's not what you're looking for, is to do a GoFundMe and stuff for legal help. But if we can offer that and, you get your DNA test back, please let us help you.
Okay.
I mean, well, if you need us to. I mean, that's if that's the need, I mean, it really, I think the clarity within itself is going to be pretty freaking outstanding for you.
Yeah.
And I honestly feel like with the law already involved, and once everything is clear, they should pick up on it and hit on it quickly. But
for sure.
Yes, I do want to say you're very brave for coming forward and sharing your story with us. Now, I was hitting on your teen years. How did they keep you isolated in your teen years?
Isolated until your 20s.
They actually kept me isolated up until my 20s. Actually,
really,
I was not allowed to have friends. I was not allowed to date. I was not allowed to go out anywhere. I was that same method continued all the way up till I was like in my early 20s to when I had my daughter, till enough was enough. And one day I just got tired of my adoptive dad trying to hit me while I had my daughter in my arms. And like that kind of hit the final straw for me, because like it's one thing to hurt me, but it's another thing to try to hurt my child. And I don't want my child to go through that type of hurt like that. And so after that is when, you know, I start kind of figuring out about my adoption, but it took some odd years later for me to actually really figure out stuff. But no, throughout my teen years, I'm talking about I can be 18 years old and I was being treated like I was literally 13. So it was a lot of isolation, a bunch of lies. Like for every time I tried to speak at, even tried to go to college when I graduated, because I did graduate as valedictorian of my high school.
Oh my gosh.
I did graduate with high grades and scholarships, but my adoptive mom ended up taking all my scholarship money to the point where I had no books. I couldn't buy me no clothes. I couldn't do anything. Matter of fact, my scholarship money was used to go pay for her actual families, her two nieces, college education. Meanwhile, I'm in school, didn't have books. I started falling behind. It was things that I could have got that I didn't have because of the money motivation and like behind everything, because I know all too well that when you've been put in a foster care system in adoption and beyond with having extremely good grades, that's a lot of scholarships, that's a lot of grants, that's money to get you through college. And I got to a point where I had tried to reinstate everything, and all I needed was one signature on that line to reinstate all my scholarships. And no lie, my adoptive mom looked at me and said, I'll be damned if I put my signature on a line just for you to fuck up. Excuse my language. But kind of the life that it was. And student loan now debt. I got all types of student loan debt that's in my name.
Because they took the money from you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I was going to a private.
Yeah, because that's gonna be your devil's advocate right there by not clarifying that when you were actually given the funds,
Yes.
Even though you were an adult, you were not treated as though you were an adult.
Right.
Is exactly what you're saying. So you were this reminds me a lot of that one case of, those 13 children that were found as adults and abused in Southern California.
I heard of that. Yeah, and they were starved and locked up.
It's
whatever.
I mean, you haven't described that, but similar in the sense that, these people were adults, but they had no idea that they were actually,
Right.
If you were a valedictorian, I mean, girl, like, wow.
National Honor Society.
I was a National Honor Society. And I was actually done with high school after my sophomore year of high school, and I forfeited my last 2 years to my first 2 years in college. So I was always smart. But the only time I was able to leave the house was when I was going to school in high school. Because that was the only time that I got to get out.
Can I just state that is absolutely amazing that after everything you went through, you were still valedictorian and you pushed through.
I did. Got to.
That's amazing. And you deserve all the praise on all of that.
Thank you. I just always call it pushing through. I never let my pain or my trauma become me, but rather use it as my motivation. So instead of being distraught, always sad, I try to always remain upbeat and just keep it going.
Right. I get that.
Do you prefer to be called Kayleen or Katie? What is your preference?
K.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like absolutely none of the above. She's like, at this point, I don't even know, so none of the above.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because I just want to make sure people are, understand, because you have a friend Janice in chat right now.
Hey.
Hi, Janice.
There you go.
Those are my homies right there. They're really good people. They've been my number one supporters too, outside of my wife. They're really good people.
You know, if you want to start like a page,
being patient with us and sharing your story with us. You seem very humble and honest. When this story gets out, please protect yourself and your family. And she's absolutely 100%. This is I'm before the live, I was talking to you about the admin that I was speaking, and she was very wanting to remind you, you know, you're gonna have people attacking you probably. Yep. There's no doubt about it. This is her.
I already
even
know.
when the DNA comes
back.
Even when I already expect it, because they're, you know, people go and talk whether you're doing bad or good. So you can have the proof right in front of them, and somebody's still going to find a way to pickpocket it apart and just be like,
oh, they only remember the bad stuff too, right?
It doesn't even matter. You could be doing good in this world, and somebody's going to pick that good apart some way.
Exactly. They're going to find a way to criticize that good. So at this point, then with everything I've been through, I mean, what could somebody possibly say that I haven't heard already? So all you can do is just move up, just keep it pushing. Like,
because at the end of the day, when she does come back as Brittnay Williams, all those people saying all this negative stuff, they just look like shameful. They look like bullies.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's not a good look for you as a person. You look like a disgusting person.
Yep.
As a person for even making those comments in the first place.
Yep.
Just to find out.
It always makes you wonder who does that stuff.
Right.
I mean, you're just looking for clarity here.
Yeah.
You're just saying like this matches. I'm seeing a pattern that is like remarkably scary to me. And I am sitting here I want to know the truth.
Yeah.
And
I think we know the truth, guys.
Yeah.
In my opinion, let me state, I think we know the truth. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I have to make that clear.
Well, and the worst case scenario is literally you are going to be an advocate right now. You're creating your voice.
Oh yeah.
For other children who've been through what you've been through. In any way, shape, or form. And I will support you, and Stephanie will support you. And I'm sure a lot of people that are watching right now are here to like just help hold you up and be your advocates.
And
hopefully we were able to clear a lot of things up and maybe solidify some questions that people were having. I guess that is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Or are we missing any questions? Because we never really went through that.
No, and I know we were just touching on your teen years. You said that you weren't able to date. They actually held you until you were 20?
22.
About 20, 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Would you like to maybe hit on more of your teen years? What you remember for like abuse wise? Was there very much then?
Yes.
If you're not comfortable, I understand.
I'm not gonna touch a lot of bases on like that in detail.
Okay.
As I got older, some things got worse.
Okay. And we can leave it right there.
I can add that systemically, like in the system, what happens is you can receive money to where you live until I believe you are, 22 in certain districts, in certain areas, in certain situations.
Yep.
Now they could possibly claim you until you're 26, but you're not going to receive any money past a certain point. So that's very interesting from what you shared tonight. I'm just saying, I see you clearly. Right. This was very interesting. Indeed. And you just wanted to be alive and be a kid.
That's it.
And yes, you had a baby, and that's fantastic because she's beautiful.
And she does not have AIDS.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. No, it's okay. Laugh at it. Like,
I just had to do
honestly,
that because,
I just want to answer Christola because she said she hadn't even heard of this or the missing persons case of Brittnay until tonight. And actually, I never heard of it until like just the other day. I was scrolling through Facebook and it popped up. And I'm like, what is this? All I read was the big post in all caps from your wife saying she's alive and well. And so I was like, what is this? And I just immediately did a deep dive into it, and I contacted Jet's mom, and I'm like, oh my God, like, this is so crazy. And if this is her, like, she needs to be able to put her story out there. Like, and I want to be of support to her because she deserves that, and she deserves a way to speak out.
Yes.
And so that's when I had already contacted you guys before telling Jeff's mom.
Yeah, she did. That was an interesting phone call on my part. I'm like, what?
Yeah, she's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then and as I dove deeper into it, I'm like, oh my God. And it involves her daughter. And I'm like, oh my God. And it involves this person. And I'm like, oh my God. So, we are bringing up your daughter. It is 11:17. We have been live for an hour and 17 minutes. Do you want to save the part with your daughter and for another stream?
No, I want to show it.
And take some. Oh, you want to show it? You want to go on? We can do that. On. Hey, well, in that case, guys, everybody in the chat, we may be able to hit on all points in one live.
We have a question from Dawn.
If you have any questions as of right now, if she's comfortable answering, we will let her answer. If not, she will state that. Can you read the questions?
Okay, so the question is, how do you feel knowing that you may take down this particular monster?
Oh, you're reading one below the one I had.
Yeah, from Dawn.
Okay, let's read. Okay, let's answer this one. This one's first. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? That's respectful. Okay. Did we get the side of Kay's daughter and Brittnay? If not, I can do it and post in the Facebook group.
That's perfectly fine. I don't mind that at all.
Who is that? Who are we speaking of there? Just in case.
My daughter and me. Or the side by side of
the genetic influence age reference
photo.
Okay, the side by side photos. Yes, I was working on getting that, but I was unable to figure out how I could do that. Like I said, I am all new to trying to set everything up, and I wasn't prepared for the whole side by side yet. And I feel on the spot. Okay,
girl, you're doing great, Stephanie. Okay. You were doing amazing.
Next question. How do you feel knowing that you may take down this particular monster, or should I say monsters?
I will feel wonderful because in my heart, I'm not the only one that they have done these messed up things to my adopted parents.
You did say that you have an adopted brother.
With more curveballs, but I'm not their only victim, and I would feel beyond amazing and wonderful when they're off the streets and put somewhere that they need to be.
Are these the same monsters that had custody of your daughter?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they never had custody. I'm actually about to clarify that. They never had custody of my daughter. What had actually happened was was blackmailed into doing it. But I had signed over temporary physical placement of my daughter to them until I got back up on my feet.
Absolutely.
So when the time came for me to try to get my daughter back, they start withholding her from me and harboring her from me.
The state never took her daughter. CPS, the judge, nobody ever.
No one ever even went there.
It was her own free will of her wanting to sign over temporary custody, and they took that and would tell people that they had custody when in fact that was never true.
So I recently helped a friend who had a immediate judgment because she didn't show up at court because the person took her to court on a day that they knew that she had to be at work. It's like the biggest event of our year. There was no way that she couldn't have been there. And the judge awarded custody of an infant. And she had to fight so hard to get that back. And that's the thing with the system. You have to play ball.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm so glad that you have her in your care right now. And whatever, I know there's other things going on too. And we're here to help support you through all of that too.
Yeah.
Correct. Very much so. Now, I just to clear things up on the schooling thing, you said you did attend school, however, you were bounced between homeschool and public schools, and you were basically pulled out when you got too close to talking about anything.
Yep.
So you did attend because, like, I know you said something about valedictorian. Did you go like the last 2 years fully actually without being pulled?
Actually, the only time that I went fully to school was when I was in high school. That's it. Everything else from like kindergarten on up to like 8th grade, it was homeschool, regular school, homeschool, regular school. Maybe the first quarter I'll be in a regular school, then the second quarter I'll be in a homeschool, then the third quarter I'll be back in school. Then maybe that next year for like a whole semester I'm back homeschool. It was like
back and forth.
Back and forth, yeah.
But still, you were able to register your actual grade point averages to be able to pull in that valedictorian. I just wanted to clear that up. Christola just made a good point. That is a pattern with abusers. They will pull kids out or transfer kids to avoid CPS.
Yep. Oh, yes. I've seen this. And I shared with you what I do for.
Unfortunately, they got away with it, and it's sad. And
it's terrible.
Yeah, but they, managed to unfortunately pull that off.
The one thing I will say to anybody listening right now, if CPS ever shows up at your door, you put the record button on your phone. You record any interaction. They do not have right to come in your home. They do not have rights.
Okay.
You do not have to speak with them either.
No. This is not a warrant or anything. If they want to bring police with them, here's the thing. I've advocated for families that have a bunch of severely injured or, children that have issues, okay? And their house is just, it's a single mother with 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids, 10 kids. And the house is destroyed because she's barely making it happen. And if you let CPS walk in those doors, their judgments can change a whole situation. Yep. And you record everything. You record them. You say, "I want to know why are you here? What is the situation? Oh, we want to come in. Well, why? Why do you want to come in? I'm happy to bring my children to you. You're welcome to look at my children and see if they're okay."
You never let them talk to your children alone.
Never. You record everything.
Will be honest. I have came upon a situation where I denied them to speak to my children alone, and they have gone to the school and pulled my kids out of class, which I later found out is not supposed to happen either.
Nope.
They are to, if I tell them that they're to have a guardian present, that's what it is. Either that I want to put a tape recorder down right here and I will record everything that's said.
They are not law enforcement. And you have a lot of people that work in certain jobs, be it the police, be it CPS, be it all kinds of things that are just a bunch of psychopaths or sociopaths that they just want control. And you need to be they're there. They are there. And they're hidden. But they're there.
A lot of times that is how they will they can get kids to be alone with them and speak upon, and they can kind of coax them into what they want. Yeah. When a child is put in that kind of a circumstance, especially with somebody they don't know, they will just say whatever they think they want them to say. Anything to appease this adult.
Now, mind you, when children are actually really being abused, that's when they're not there, in my humble opinion.
Yep.
That's where it gets really weird.
Yeah.
They don't listen.
I agree with that.
And you know, I'm sorry to mean this is a different topic completely, but we have to be, you know, I don't know what to say. It's hard.
The comment on screen. Absolutely.
Aww.
Yes, and Lonnie actually sent you up here. I did put that on screen, but I will repost that, as she is from Australia. That's all we need to know.
Oh, she's beautiful. Lonnie's beautiful.
That's sweet.
She is. She always says, "My arms hurt from hugging you guys all the way over across seas."
Hey,
I started stealing her little hugs and telling her, "Now my arms are hurting." So, we
Empress, their friend is making. She says, "Thank you." Yeah.
Yes.
This is your friend.
And Empress, I want to state, and I'm
actually that's me. That's her. That's me. That's her.
Oh, that's you.
Okay.
I'm
actually, I thought that was your friend. I was gonna say, you know, I contacted them
I am her friend.
Great intention.
Yeah, it's my best friend and my wife.
Honestly, I straight told her that, or told for everybody else that's viewing, I straight told these girls, I said, you know, I want nothing of this. I mean, and I want you to know I am a small channel. I am just beginning my channel, and but I would love to have you guys on panel and to tell us, just to get the word out. That is all it is about it. I mean, after you hear this case, if you want to unsubscribe, you don't want to follow anymore that I will be covering, more power to you.
See you later.
Yes, I mean, this has nothing to do with trying to grow. This is all in regards to helping Katie find out who she is and be there for her.
You know, and this might also give you guys, since this is the first time you're doing a live, this might give you guys a little bit of energy behind it to do your thing too, you know, even the advocacy side of it, right?
Yeah.
You know, to help other families in similar situations.
And I was thinking also today, maybe if you even wanted to just upload your stories to your own YouTube channel, you know, you could always do that. Just ideas. You know, I'm sure you would have a huge following afterwards got out. But let's talk about your daughter and what happened with that, maybe how they came in possession with her. If you're comfortable.
She might not be able to right now, actually.
Okay. It's like I know she wanted me to show some photos.
Now, I know from like the temporary custody thing, I'm going to be honest, back in 2017, my daughter had came to me from a visit with them, and she had a bruise on her, and she opened up to me about how her adoptive grandmother would sit up there and was hitting her too hard, like whoopings. And I ended up trying to call DCS on her, and DCS flipped the investigation on me, and then turned around and I got an ex parte put out on me just for trying to.
That ex parte.
And then turned around, I got a lot of people pressuring me into, the courts are just going to try to take her. You're not stable enough. So I bit down on the bullet I didn't want to bite down on and just signed over temporary placement of her because I didn't want DCS or the courts or anybody to take her from me.
Before the ex parte?
After the ex parte. And so afterwards.
So they just basically took her.
Retaliated with the ex parte.
what people
Right.
so an ex parte is what it goes into the court system. It's called it's an immediate injunction. It's usually used in child abuse situations and CPS. It's generally that's what it comes from.
This is the post that I originally seen.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
And this
okay,
is what brought me into the case.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's it. That's what it is. And you know what I found fascinating about the thing too, though, is you guys are a lovely married couple. This makes no sense.
And why would you want to put yourself out there for any backlash if this is not,
legit?
Really what you think it is,
Yeah. And at
you guys seem like
the reason I
happy.
posted it was to get her help and to, get her story out there. Because in my heart, I believe she is Brittnay. I'm convinced. I call her Brittnay sometimes just because I say you might as well get used to your real name.
You're beautiful.
And then ultimately,
If
it's because
anybody
I want to
says
help out my
anything
child. And she don't deserve that type of life, especially when my adoptive parents have been planning on trying to take her ever since I was pregnant with her. So it's been like literally an ongoing battle since she's been alive for me to just keep her. And for every time they try to hold me down or make it seem like I can't fight for her, I just try to fight harder. I don't give up.
You have a wife right now, and she is the two of you together are unstoppable.
Yep, for sure.
Absolutely. And she seems like she really backs you 100% in everything that you're doing in your search, and with somebody in your position, that's what you need. You need that full on support system there.
The unconditional love. It's called unconditional love.
That's right.
Yes.
And those are things that people don't feel sometimes growing up. Regardless of where you come from or who you came from, that's powerful.
It is.
And I know she needs it. And I
it's
could
like
tell
when you see your baby that first time, that's unconditional love, right?
Yeah.
A baby, that's your unconditional love.
And she even accepted my
she isn't your baby. She's not your baby, but you still have the unconditional love.
That is wonderful. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I don't mean. I'm sorry. I get weird.
Well, don't close it.
All right. Okay. I do have your photos that you wanted shown with your daughter. I will bring those up. Oh, where did you go? Let me see. Remove that one. I'm gonna go ahead and find that screen for that right here. And we can go through your photos for that. Can everybody see this? Is it showing? Okay. Yep. All right. So if you want to explain what this is.
That is, I don't know. Let me
I'm
see.
guessing down here is where you're talking.
That's her side. Yeah, that's her side. Those are all types of bruises that go down her side.
Oh, baby.
Okay, and you also wanted to show protection order. That's your protection order.
That was the DCS. That was the DCS report that okayed me keeping her.
Oh, okay.
And we went through like 4 or 5 dealing with the police and DCS.
But this is a photo that you wanted.
That's her back.
Her whole
lower back, and even the top of her back was like
bruised bad, severely.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was really bad. When I saw it, I just started crying. I didn't like to see that. It broke my heart, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Now,
And that was my first
I
time
did
meeting
see
Bella, and I had to
on
see
your
that.
page,
Yeah,
or was it on your page, or was it the video that you have posted on your page where you mentioned about she didn't even want you to see it?
I believe that was a video that I had posted, and
She let me see it,
I
I had just met her. That day we saw it was the day they decided that they wanted her to see her after a year and a half. So for her to feel comfortable enough to let me see it and not her mom, that was different. But when I saw it, I had to back out because it did something to me, and I just didn't like to see that. But I didn't want Kaylin to see it, so I guess I had to snap some pictures
and
for
those
her
are just some of the photos.
because I knew I knew that her seeing that would hurt her. So
Right. And I do believe that I only saved those ones as I did not really want to expose your daughter like that.
Yeah.
Out of a respect. And then I did have the one that has you and your daughter that we did show earlier. This one.
on her arm.
That one, yeah.
The bruise
yeah,
on her
the bruise
arm.
on her arm. Yeah.
And it's actually a cluster of bruises on her arm, actually.
Yeah.
Right. Well, so this also brings me to, because like the major bruising was her back and her torso area, something that was covered. Was that how it was for you when you were a child?
Yeah. Always wearing
A lot of it
would be covered.
bruises. Yeah.
Long sleeves,
turtlenecks, long pants.
Yep.
It's different
Sorry,
stuff.
I'm laughing out of my own experience.
Christella says she knew her mama was going to raise hell. And I believe any mama would. But I found that very interesting that she was trying to protect you from seeing it.
Yep.
But was really open to letting your wife see. Christola S. And that she did.
Yep.
I'm so glad you guys have each other.
I am glad too. I'm glad that you have all the support you have. And like I said, when I reached out to you only in complete compassion and wanting to help you tell your story, because when I did my research, everything was like, this girl is not lying. Like in the pictures and when I seen your daughter's picture in the one photo, I was like,
yeah.
Okay, there's no way she looks this similar and can't be, So yes, and then we have much better. Yes, she looks very happy. The little girl looks very, very happy to be back with mom.
Yes.
It sounds very happy, I gotta admit. I've heard them in the background quite a few times. So, besides that, was there anything else you wanted to touch base on? Or is there any other questions in the chat that we might have raised? She's so happy.
Aww. Look at that love.
I know. Very, very, very.
And that's all that matters, right?
And then what makes it worse is she's 7 years old. And so I found the age timing really messed up on that behalf too, because beyond them putting out a fake missing persons report, they were also filing falsified paperwork, trying to override my protective order and trying to take her. But all of that got disproved by the police, the court system, and DCS. And they allowed the child to stay with me, the mother.
Right, right. And there's no better feeling than when you've been put in that kind of a place to know you got your baby's back. I know.
Right. It's like a sigh of relief.
Absolutely, because I myself, I've actually been put in a predicament where I was homeless. So out of the best interest of my children, I let them go with their dads. They needed stability, so I've been there. I can relate to you on that. Mm-hmm. And you do what is in the best interest of your children.
That's right.
But when you know you have the stability and you have the support and you can regain your control over that situation, there's no better feeling. I gotta tell you that, and I can relate to you on that. These people seem extremely controlling. Okay.
And possessive.
Well, and it's even more than control sometimes, because it's when they can't have control. That's when you see the fierceness, right?
Yep.
That's when you see something come out of them that is something you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's actually the perfect phrase right there. Yep.
You're like, because it's almost half the time they're trying to be your ally and like in your best interest, but then once they lose control, that's when you see the real wrath.
I figured you were going to find her, as this comment was directed towards her.
I know. I see you guys. That's all I'm saying is I see you, and I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, but like I was just, or my message. It's pretty interesting how it all works, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say thank you, Dawn, because I do know, everybody really is supportive of both of them in a whole, and really backing Brittnay or Katie on her search or on her journey to finding out who she is. And it is very appreciated by myself that you are willing to reach out to Deja, the wife, and give her support in the whole situation.
That's
for her.
Because she deserved it. Because, like, she been my number one supporter. She been there from the jump. She loves me for me. She doesn't judge me. She doesn't judge me based off my past, and she helps me fight for my daughter. She's ultimately the reason why I'm finding me, and she's the reason why I have my daughter back. So I do owe her a lot of credit, and I'm very appreciative.
She too could use a lot of, just somebody to support her.
Yep.
A support system for her.
Absolutely.
She deserves all of that, and then some.
Okay, let's see. So I have been there too, still going through it. She's speaking on the whole kid situation. And Katie and Deja are doing a wonderful job. Your daughter is beautiful and looks very happy and well loved.
Exactly. Well said.
Thank you. That's nice.
Awesome. Honestly, I mean this went well tonight, and I do want to keep updated on everything with you ladies. I want to keep in touch. Of course, I'll probably be hitting you up probably tomorrow. Hey, have you heard anything? No. And if there's anything that I can offer, or if you guys need help with anything, if you guys even just say, hey, I want to touch on this, I am more than happy to have you guys. Okay. If there's something that you want to bring up in any way, shape, or form, just let me know. I want you guys to know that I'm here for you. My channel's here for you to speak up on or anything. And we did kind of allude to the other situation. Once you hear more on that situation and you're able to speak on it, would you be willing to come back and speak upon that?
Yes, I sure would. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes, and I do believe I don't believe that it's gonna. 1,000%. People have already reached out to these people, I'm thinking.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. Because I heard that their pages are down, and my main concern is if they go into hiding.
Yeah. Right.
Unless they just privated them, possibly privated.
They could have done that too.
Well, and then I think that they're so cocky about getting Isabella back that there is a court date for them on October 7th, and I think that they will be there, to be honest about
because they believe they will be getting her back.
Yes.
They're
very narcissistic.
And they're fixated.
All we can say is for anybody that's watching that knows about that situation, let's hope that in that circumstances stuff will be done that day.
Well, let's just pray together too. You know,
Yes.
we can all.
Are you
put our
guys
prayers
okay with
together.
praying before we close out tonight?
That's beautiful.
fine.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
Prayer is
Go ahead,
powerful.
Jessica.
Yes.
I knew you were gonna make me do this. I wasn't ready
You
for this.
brought it up,
man.
dear. You're wonderful at it.
Okay, so just in prayer all together tonight. First, I want to thank Katie and Deja for having the energy and just the willing to come up and share their story together with us tonight. And I want to thank Stephanie also as well, because this wasn't easy for her to like start her channel like this. And so when I say pray, Father God, I'm praying to whatever source that you pray to. It could be, whatever it is. I mean, I happen to be a Jesus person, but I'll just talk to Father God right now for all of us together. And I just pray for a healing. Let's heal together right now. We've shared this amazing story and this amazing opportunity that might be unraveling right now, right before us, Father God. And thank you, Father God, for bringing this to us and giving us these resources. And, I pray for healing and love. And I pray for just love to be passed to everybody that's watching or that sees this at some point. And you know what? What it really comes down to, Father, is you are with us. You are always with us, even in the hardest points of our lives. So we've talked about some hard stuff tonight. We've talked about some really painful things tonight. And you've helped us heal. And you've brought us the resources to help us heal through all of our pain and all of our suffering. And for this, I thank you. I thank you, and I know you are with us. And in your name that I pray for all of the blessings and everything works out and all the way you've definitely wanted to go, especially when it comes to Katie and Deja's child. We know that she's meant to be with them, and we pray that she's with them forever and ever and ever without any issues. No more issues. They don't need any more issues. Come on, they've been through enough. We know this, Father God. But we also know that you only give us as much as we can handle. We know this. And we know this, and we will keep fighting because we are your warrior. And we will always be with you. And we always will love and find love for each other. And in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, so if there's anybody that's been here and has heard the story, I want to, I just out of curiosity from what you have all heard tonight, enter a 1 into the chat if you are all on the same page as I am, because I will say, in my honest opinion, I do believe she could be Brittnay. Enter a 1 into the chat if you do believe. Let's see what we have, girls.
1 for me.
Okay. 1 for Jet's mom. Look, we got a 1. We got a 1. 2, if you don't. If you're still a little leery. 3, if you're a hard no. We got lots of 1s coming in. Lots of 1s. Amen. Lots of 1s. And I'm going to do this because I've been side Katie all for a while. Absolutely possible with Dawn. Absolutely. Yes. Well, of course we know Empress. Okay. So with that said, we do you do have a lot of supporters in your journey, and I do, like I said, want to keep in contact. Possibly when let's do another live stream when you get back your DNA, okay? How's that? Are you okay with that?
Yes, I am. I am perfectly fine with that.
Okay. Well, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close out tonight.
Okay.
And I'm excited for the results. I really am. Do I get to know before the live stream though? I'm like, yay. I really appreciate having you ladies on stream tonight, and I appreciate you guys speaking out and telling your story. I'm sure, as I know, it was probably very hard to do, and tough, but you guys are amazing. You're very inspirational, Katie. And like I've said, I don't know. Honestly, I would say I would look up to you, but I'm a little bit older than you, and I'm probably taller than you. But
Yeah, you're right.
I do think that you are a lot of inspiration for those who may be in your situation, and maybe they can come forward like you have.
For sure.
And I completely say thank you. With that said, I'm gonna go ahead and end this out. If anybody wants to message me that normally would, go ahead. All right. Thank you for joining us.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for having me on there.
Yes, no problem. Good night to everybody else.